Thanks for coming, everyone. Who's ready to talk about your problems? Yeah, awesome. This is what you came here for. Talk all about your problems, right? Okay. You guys got costs. How many of you work for a transportation provider? Okay. Either own or work for a transportation provider. Please raise your hands high up in the air. Okay, a good lot of you. Leave the hands up in the air. Everyone, leave the hands up in the air. Now, over the past, thank you. Over the past few years, I want you to tell me, all of these costs that you have, your fuel, your maintenance, every time your vehicle moves, you have these costs. You also have these costs on a daily basis. Have your costs been increasing over the past few years? Leave your hands up if they are. Okay. Now, leave your hands up if your revenues, your reimbursement rates, have not been increasing at the rate to match your costs. There we go. Luckily for you all, I went to MIT, and I crunched the numbers on this. It turns out if your costs are increasing and your revenues aren't going up at the same rate, yeah, you're welcome for the insight. So what do we do about this, right? I mean, this is the whole name of the game. You all operate private for-profit businesses, right? Schedule optimization. You heard a lot about it probably from plenty of software companies. Route optimization, schedule optimization, optimize everything. Let's optimize, right? Let's optimize whatever to increase your profits. What are those optimizers actually doing? People will say, oh, decrease your deadhead miles, this, that. But at the end of the day, what is the ultimate metric that these algorithms are actually optimizing for? Well, they're trying to maximize the number of trips that you can do while at the same time minimizing the total distance that's driven by your entire fleet. That's pretty good, right? Mr. Mark Porterfield, why is that good?
Well, because you get to maximize your revenue, you get extra trips put in, and then you're not going to use as much fuel.
Exactly. And does it also help you to project how many trips that you can take? And like you said, reduces your unloaded miles, reduces that wear and tear. Mark, can you come up? We're going to play a quick game here. No, it's going to be fun. I mean, I call it a game because I don't run an NEMT company. For you, this is just work as you do on a daily basis. But actually, here, you're good over there. Mark, this is your NEMT company. Congratulations. You operate with 3 vehicles, and the top is the start time of a trip. The bottom is the end time. These are all trips. And guess what? This Friday, you're doing 18 trips. Pretty good, right? With 3 drivers?
Okay.
Yeah. But today's only Tuesday. I mean, you only know as of today that you're going to be doing 18 trips on Friday. Of course, tomorrow and the day after, you're going to get more trips called in for Friday. But as of now, you just know today's Tuesday. On Friday, 18 trips have been called in. Simple enough? Okay. Hey, guess what? 2 more trips just got called in. What are you going to do?
Depends on the time. I try and plug them in wherever I think I can make them work.
Exactly. And who are you going to have do that or try to figure that out?
My dispatcher.
And
kind of guesses at it depending on.
She guesses at it. How good is she at guessing?
You know.
You all know. You all know.
I guess she's okay.
Well, Mark, guess who's better at guessing? Software. Software can tell you that, hey, these trips don't fit in properly into your schedule, and you should reject them. Pretty good, right? And guess what? Now today's Wednesday. You got 5 more trips called in. 3 of them fit in there, and 2 more don't fit in. And software tells you, reject these 2 and take those 3 instead of your guesser. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty good, Mark. It is pretty good what we've got. And the best of AI-based route algorithms questions afterwards, but thank you for your enthusiasm. This is the best of what schedule optimizers do right now. And that's pretty good, right? You buy it?
That's the best it can do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be doing better.
He's a smart man, Mr. Mark Porterfield. I'm going to do you one better, Mark. I'm going to bring you into the future.
Okay.
In the future, we're not going to be maximizing for those things. We're going to be maximizing for profit. How hard is it to calculate profit at a per trip level right now?
Like per trip, per van?
Yeah.
I don't have a spreadsheet set up for it, so it's time consuming.
It's time consuming. Why? Because there are various costs that go in.
Like 40 costs.
30, 40 costs. I mean, you have all of these operating costs that we talked about before that you have to calculate at a per trip level. And then all of these factors that the algorithms are figuring out for scheduling have to be married with these costs to just figure out whether it's profitable to do a trip or not. It's pretty hard, right? But thankfully, with statistical models, we can actually do that. So let's go back to our previous example here. Today's Wednesday. You're still projecting Friday's trips. What if, Mark, software said, hey, you should put an extra vehicle on the road and actually do these 4 trips instead of rejecting them, because it is more profitable to do these trips than not. Your costs are lower than your revenues for putting this driver on the road, and all of your depreciation schedules for your vehicles, your labor costs, your fuel costs, it calculates everything and tells you it's profitable. And what if it's the next day and you get a bunch more trips and it tells you, hey, add another driver? That's pretty cool, right? But the thing is, you're not going to be on Wednesday saying, hey, extra driver, can you drive on Friday? Oh, it's Thursday, I need another driver. Can you drive? You guys roughly have the same number of drivers every day. What if software were able to project how many trips you're actually going to have by the time Friday rolls around? And it tells you days in advance, this is how many drivers you should plan to have on the road that day. You like that? Thank you. I like it too. Mr. Mark Porterfield, everyone. Now, this is all advanced scheduling. You all operate companies where stuff happens day of, right? Let's talk about those real-time dispatching additions and changes. Mr. Howard Berkowitz, you live and operate in real time. Why don't you come up? Help me out with this one. So Howard, we've got, yet again, 3 drivers. And again, the top of a trip is the start time, the bottom is the end time, and we've got these 3 drivers, and driver A is taking passenger Bob, driver B is taking passenger Laura, so on. So the thing is, now a trip for Margaret got called in. Where are we going to place that trip? C. Who said that? Awesome. By the way, that's how you win chocolate. C is agreed? Okay. Thank you, but you're wrong. But you still get chocolate. Yeah, could you please? Sorry. Yeah. Why can't driver C do Margaret? Driver C is on the other side of town. Yeah, driver C has availability during that time, but they won't be able to get to Margaret, do that trip, and then come back in time for Jimmy. Now the thing is, Margaret would be perfect to be taken by driver A, but why can't driver A do it? Same time as Bob. Thank you. Who said that? You know, I wouldn't have known. Anyone could have raised their hand. I would have thrown you chocolate. But, okay, let's say we put Margaret onto driver A. Now, what do we got to do with Bob? Where do we place Bob? Howard, where do we place Bob?
You can't place him at C.
Trick question. Nobody knows where we can place Bob. But software knows. Software can figure out. We should place Margaret on driver A, which would move Bob over to driver B. And in order for driver B to do Bob, we'd have to move Laura over to driver C, which works out. You all have vehicles on the road every day where you get new trips called in, things change, and you need to move around your schedules. Who's figuring this out for you? Let me guess. Yes. Thank you, Marie. Your human being dispatcher is figuring out all of this for you. And guess what? They're not just doing one of these, they're trying to figure out 10 of these every day. That's insane. Howard, is that insane? That's insane. You should have software doing this for you instantly and optimally. This exists. This is the latest in AI, and this is only going to get better. Thank you, Howard, for playing. And you've been a great contestant. Oh, and opportunistically, there we go. Let's just simply recap what we just saw. New trips get called in. What do? Click to re-optimize. Have the software do it for you. Driver gets stuck for 15 minutes. The trip that they were about to do, they're going to be late for. You're going to try to see if another driver can do it so that that trip doesn't happen late, and if that driver has availability, if anyone in your fleet. What do you do to figure that out? Apologize if I hit some people's heads. Sorry. It's a hazardous world we live in, NEMT. You're used to it. Flat tire. At the beginning of the day, your driver had 9 trips on her schedule, and now she can't do any of them. And you got to figure out if those 9 trips can be moved on in an optimal way to any of the rest of the drivers on your fleet. What are you going to do? Yeah, there you go. But hey, you know what's better than click to re-optimize? Not clicking and still getting re-optimization. When your algorithms are continuously running in the background, figuring out, hey, this change just happened with this driver got delayed, and we can see all that information in real time, and your dispatcher just gets a notification saying, hey, I'm the software, I just re-optimized for you based on things that are happening in real time. Is this cool with you? Dispatcher says, okay, that's cool with me. No clicking necessary. Boom. That is the future. You know what, Mr. Mike Borum, your company is required to give your drivers break times, right? Want to come up and play with me? No. He does want to play. He just doesn't know it yet. Mike, what do you want to do about your driver break times that you're required to give them?
Give it to them as soon as I can.
As soon as they can. Like, how does that work? How do your human being staff make that happen?
Well, unfortunately, my staff kind of just slots them in at the beginning of the day, and then they're difficult to move, so we wind up
Sub-optimizing. What if you could click a button and the driver breaks were placed optimally for you based on wherever the drivers had downtime?
It'd be great as long as they would move if I needed to move them.
What if you could automatically move them manually? They were placed optimally.
Click to optimize, that'd be
awesome. Awesome. Hey, while you're up here, Mike, does your company happen to do a lot of will call trips and hospital discharges that can pop up at any time? 85%. Wow. That's a lot of percent. 90%. Yeah. So how do you organize your fleet's capacity to handle these trips that could pop up when you don't know when they'll pop up? With difficulty. How much difficulty?
We're sub-optimized.
Sub-optimized. Okay.
I'm glad I don't work for you.
Okay, Mike. Well, we're going to help you predict the future. Nobody can predict the future, but we can help a little bit with something called machine learning. And Don't be scared by this phrase. At its simplest level, machine learning is essentially this. You have 2 points, you draw a line, and that line helps you figure out where the third point is. So, Mike, what if I told you that 90% of your trips that you have, our software is going to analyze all those will call trips and see, all the factors like time of day, day of week, the weather conditions, patient characteristics, and it's going to take all that information and make patterns out of it. And those patterns are going to tell you, hey, here's the typical wait times and the typical length of appointments at X and Y facilities. Would that be helpful in the great difficulty your people face?
Very.
You know what's going to be even more helpful? When we turn those patterns into predictive models, okay? And those models are going to keep getting this data, and the accuracy in predicting the timing of the will call trips is going to enhance over time. Pretty awesome, right?
It is.
Where does that move from difficult to where are you at right now?
Much easier. I mean, at least, right now we basically try to do predictive modeling for like holidays. So if we have a holiday, how many vehicles to bring in for the holiday? I at least can do that. But
Okay.
This is a whole different level.
Whole different level.